What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to talk about the best teams to use in this week of Supreme Arena. I will show you my teams first that I set up, then we're going to take a look at Gloomygos infographic, because Gloomygos makes some quite insane infographics that basically show you all the teams for everybody. Everybody should find a team there, which is great. And then we are going to talk about Fight Club, which is something, well, you shouldn't do, of course, but we're going to do that today, as it is a very big PvP tournament that is coming up, and of course I am preparing for it. This is partly the reason why I'm doing a whole lot more PvP right now. I've been doing a lot more PvP since the start of the season. You just saw I am placed 1. I was that since the start of this season, actually. I'm at 900 points for the frame for Supreme Arena, so that is pretty great. And then Wraec came to me and he asked me, sent me a message and said, Wraec, do you care about PvP? If so, then join the Fight Club. And he sent me this Discord link and I joined there. And this great thing that he set up, I think together with a few other people. And it's a big PvP tournament. And you can fight like in your strength bracket together with other people that have similarly powerful heroes. So for example, if you have Supreme Plus heroes, you wouldn't fight against somebody like me with multiple P4. So everything is really fair in there. And that is something that is great because everybody can participate in it. And as you know, well, second half of the season tends to be a little bit slower. So it's perfect time to join there right now. So check out the link in the description. That is a Discord invite to the Fight Club. And you can join there and enjoy PvP with us. So starting off now with the teams that I set up for this week in Supreme Arena. I started off like with an iron comp, and the interesting part here is we have 4 hidden areas, and I was like, well, why not use them all? So I put all the heroes in there. I use Nero here just to take an enemy Lily May in case they want to counter my iron, in case they suspect that there might be an iron right here, then Nero will actually do his ult first because he is, well, closer to the enemy side, closer to slot 1. He will do his ult first, get countered by Lily May, and then iron can still CC. We have doubled Wilder tiles here, which is usually quite insane, and that team is quite bursty. Quite insane in terms of countering because we have Lily May for ult counters. Works overall quite great. It's like an absolutely solid thing. I just like to set up an iron team, but with stuff like Dunlinger, with stuff like Lily May, I want to counter at least Lily May. So I put Nero in there. Nero is P3, which is also kind of nice. So we get to keep up the Paragon a little bit. Then for the second team, I wasn't too sure what to set. And at the end, I settled on a Graveborn team for now. We have Bonnie in here, we have Sylvina right into the back. If you didn't see my Sylvina video yet, definitely recommend doing that. And the idea of this team is general. We have the 2 Graveborn tiles. Graveborn skill is to steal the soul of an enemy, deals high damage to the back row. And then we just want to burst a little bit in there with our trusty Sylvina. Having a little bit of Thorin and Ludovic, so overall a very strong team. I have to say, Gloomygos came up with some very interesting teams for that, and honestly, I like the Graveborn tile, but I feel like Wilder is meta. I see people forcing Wilder sometimes right now because the Wilder tile is so insane. If we take a look at it right here, what it does, if you've never checked it out, is it makes your heroes invisible and invincible. So they can't take damage, they can't die, they can't even be CC'd. They deal 20% increased damage with their non-ultimate skills with, like, keep that in mind, Lily May Burst at the beginning is not an ultimate skill. So absolutely insane, and it lasts for a fairly long time, long enough to be very, very annoying. And with the double tiles, you have 2 invincible heroes on the team suddenly, which is insane. So this is a little bit more spread out through the skills, but I see the development more towards Wilder. So for this bit of a Graveborn burst team, it tends to work pretty well with Sylvina. And here I went for Slasher. Sadly, I didn't have the double tile. What I did here, I placed Dunlinger for iron counter, of course. We have it on the Tazi. The Tazi is on the tile, can generate energy if the enemy doesn't use Lily May. Then this quickly activates the ult or Dunlinger, and if not, then, well, we still have Harak here with the twins, which is a very solid combo, protected by a little bit of Scalita. I personally hate a little bit that my Scalita is P1. I kind of thought about upgrading her to P2, but with Creonaya coming up as next Hypergen hero, I'm not too sure we can do it. So this is like my team. One interesting part about it that I want to show you is, of course, we saw the fights there with Andre, and just had to do it because I set this up like half an hour ago. I finished setting this up, and then I asked Andre, can you attack me quickly, so that we have something to show there. And what I also asked him to do is I said, Andre, can you take a screenshot of how it looks to fight those teams before you set them up? Because I wanted to show a little bit of those stealth tiles, because we used them so excessively here. So this was his team. The only thing that he can see right here is that I use Lily May. He can't even see which skill I'm using, which I think is quite insane. So there's no way to prepare for anything. Lily May is a super common hero, might be any combination of the team, and as it turns out, he had the Lily May in there, but we countered Lily May, so it worked fairly well against this team. Second team, we don't have anything to hide there, of course. I'm not sure why I didn't use that. I should definitely do that. But here we were a little bit on the disadvantage. Didn't show that fight, but this Wilder tile counters Graveborn, which is insane. I think I hate that so much, I'll be honest. I hate that so much that it does that, because, well, usually we were supposed to seize the soul of Bonnie, but she's invincible, so we can't deal damage to her, which is ridiculous. But okay, next one, he doesn't see the team at all, which I think is funny. There is just like no team. I don't know if you've seen that already. We had one of the twins there, so I didn't know that, but if one twin is on like a concealment tile there, the other one isn't visible at all. So even though this twin is over here, you can't see him. So pretty interesting as well. So yeah, would be supposed to be here, but no, game doesn't show it. So he had no chance at all to prepare for this team, really. And the thing about the concealment tiles is that they never really work. The thing is, of course, he can't set up for the first fight against me. So in a position like this, what are you going to do? You can't do anything. You can counter the artifact maybe, but you don't see anything. So it doesn't really help you. But once he fought that this team once, of course, he can look at the playback and then see which heroes I set, or watch the fight and see which heroes I set, and then, well, then the secret is revealed. And he has multiple attacks every single day, so he can just try again with a better set up team. So the concealment isn't really an effective protection against losing a fight. It just gives you mostly a free win, I suppose. I tend to use it. If it's available on the tiles, I tend to use it, even though I know people that just say it doesn't matter. If he wins the first fight or the second fight, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. So I definitely understand that as well. Now let's get into some lineups by Gloomygos, because I thought this was pretty insane. Gloomygos actually posted this on the Fight Club Discord, so I'm going to put you the link to those graphics there as well. If you want to zoom a little bit in, maybe see something up close, or just download them for yourself, you can do so on the Fight Club Discord. You will have to join the Discord first, and then I will put you a direct link to Gloomygos post there, so that you can get them as well. Apparently Gloomygos posted them also on Yapala, if you are there. Maybe that's an option. So this is fairly interesting, because Gloomygos first of all went ahead and posted a bunch of lineups with like a theme. We have the Lenya Wilder Burst here, for example. And then we have all the lineups right here for this Lenya Wilder Burst. They are all a little bit different. So if you want to build a Lenya Wilder Burst, you have multiple options right here. And Gloomygos gave them all a rating. So 6-star is the maximum, and 1-star the lowest one. And the higher the stars are, of course, the better the lineup, in Gloomygos' opinion. And I went through all of them, and I think I agree. I agree on like all of the lineups, and I think all of the 5- and 6-star lineups especially are very good. Very good. Lenya Burst is something that I think is also very interesting. It first of all uses the Wilder tile, which is pretty good. So something that I definitely think is a nice way to do it. My Lenya is a little bit low. So maybe you have her, maybe you have her at Supreme Plus. If that is like your general thing, we of course have to consider Paragon. Like if you have high Paragon heroes, going from a P4 to an S+, for example, that hurts. That really hurts. But that is an option. I really like this one, for example. I think it is pretty cool to put Temesia in here. Gives you a lot more options. She is super tanky, super annoying. The Ulmus, personally, I rather have on another lineup. I really like the combination of Ulmus Iron. So I probably wouldn't put that in there, but like just having this super insane burst over here is nice. And of course, I mean, the Ulmus has the advantage that when Lenya moves an enemy, then you kind of get to bind them, which is pretty good, and she will win the duel. And once she got that going, well, then you really win. So that's insane. Next up, Diurnal Wilder Burst. you kind of see a theme here. Many Wilder teams, and people try to use it. Interestingly enough, Lorsan sees play through this. Like, he's not a bad hero. I never said he's a bad hero, but just him being a Wilder is now a great thing. And we kind of know this from last season. Last season around, the thing was we had super strong Mauler tiles. So every hero that was Mauler basically went up 1 rating in the PvP rankings, in the PvP tier lists. And I think right now we have the same thing going on with Wilder, where Dynel is good just because he's Wilder. And that is of course a very nice thing. Yeah, so Wilder, Dynel, Lorsan is great because he's just a Wilder, and we get to activate the tile. Then we just go ahead here. We have our Dynel right here with the setting behind the Ulmus. By the way, what you achieve is that this guy actually gets true damage. So that is fairly insane. And is by the way why Ulmus is very strong in nearly every lineup this season. A bit difficult if you want to use the one before and combine that here, because Ulmus is also on a lot of lineups over there. But you could go for something like this, and this on map 2 I think is not too bad, because we have the summons right there, and there is actually an ability active on map 2. Map 2 this time around features something that I haven't really used on my team, because my summoning heroes are a little bit weak. When any allied unit, including summons, is defeated, summons a spirit to haunt all enemies. Each spirit's stack increases the physical damage enemies take by 30%, reduces the damage they deal by 10% for 30 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. So with a few summons, you can quickly heighten the damage the enemies take, the physical damage they take, by 90%, which is a madness. And you can of course activate this for once through Florabelle. Florabelle, tons of summons over there. If I would find her, she's somehow gone. There she is. We of course have 3 summons right there. In theory, you could go Sessia. One hero that of course is also recommendable is Burial. He can die multiple times, so that is something that works. And you can go in and probably, I haven't tested this, but the Damien cards should count. So that is something that I might even do. I might even set this up to be like a Wilder team with Damien. That is maybe a change I'm going to do. So we're going to see about this. For the Dynel one, of course, your winning thing is really getting to the ult. Once you get to the ult with true damage from the Ulmus, maybe even the Lyca and Dynel is an insane combination, and then you are golden. Then you are basically set. Probably we even go for the second team. Having the Ulmus in there, I mean, if you can get rid of it, it's probably nice to use it on another team. Probably go for something like this. This is pretty crazy, honestly. I like this. Then we have the Wilder Megastore, which is an absolutely glorious name. Love that. On the first one here, a little bit of an OD team with Tazi in there. Really nice. Kind of like this. The good thing here is you have Tazi for CC. And then you can combine this with Heaven. Heaven on the invincible tile, of course, very nice. No chance that she's CC'd. Probably going to get her ult. And I hate Odie on that tile. So this one with Odie on the tile, that is really ugly, because you just don't get to defeat him before he ults. And even with you counting with Lily May, often he just gets a second ult, and that is so annoying and so strong. So something like this, madness. Once again, Wilder tile though. And Wilder CC Burst is more of my type of team, a little bit of an Iron team. We had something very similar to this. Very similar to this, I should say. Yeah, more similar to this, even though we made a little bit more use of the hidden tiles. While this positioning is probably a little bit more effective in terms of just team power and not the hiding, but well, you can take both into account and try your best with both team variants. A general and Iron comp, you never go wrong on this. Might want to use Nero or Brian, by the way, also works if you want to counter an enemy Lily May and make sure you get your Iron ult, and unless the enemy uses a Dundlinger. Lightbearer Star will make a little bit of short work on this one. I like Hugin. If you have him, he can be great. Luca is alright. I have not yet seen any Lightbearer team really do well. I don't know if we need like a little bit more of these skills there. Usually we should have like a super tank. And I see the way this works is often the rest of the team dies, and the Hogan that comes from the skill is the last hero standing. He doesn't really do any damage though, so he's quickly defeated. Yeah, bit of a difficult one. Can those teams work? Yeah, they can. I mean, Vala is a great hero if you go for it. Vala can, by the way, also be combined with Sylvina or like the Gravebond tiles. Can also work. Can also be fairly interesting. Hugin is really one of the stronger heroes of that. I'm not too sure I want to base the team around it. If you have a strong Vala, though, maybe give it a try to include her in some teams. Mauler Superstall is something I have yet to see. I have not seen somebody use that yet. Gloomy Ghost featured it with 4 stars, so a little bit holding back on this, probably not too sure. But I guess if the enemy doesn't have the potential to take out your heroes and you have Lumont and everything set up, Lumont can be surprisingly effective. We saw this in the first videos I made about the Paragon changes. So this can be interesting, and Sharky is always a menace. Once you get the Sharky going and the enemy doesn't manage to defeat it, well, that is mean. Also Soren in here. Soren's going to be great soon. This is going to go up from 2 stars, I reckon. It's going to go up, because Soren is going to get a Supreme Plus upgrade, like we saw on Mirael, which I'm surprised we didn't see in this yet. This is actually quite insane. And can be quite great, I think. Well, I think we might see him in some Supreme Arena teams. Then we have Graveborn Stall. And I have to say, I didn't do Stall on Graveborn at all since Season 1, I think. Season 1, Igor jumping around, you couldn't get rid of him. Menace, insane. Coming back now, it seems. I mean, you put the Bonnie in there, you have a Lorsan. A little bit of Valka, because Valka is super tanky. Dunlinger is a tank. And then we have Igor, so we have a lot of stuff jumping around, being very, very tanky. Not too much heal on this team, but enough magic damage to probably spread around Bonnie's dot quite a lot, stalled up quite a lot. Dunlinger provides more stall than you might think. He's not super tanky himself, and just the fact that your team won't get hit by ults during the time can be fairly effective. I like the Scalita in here. If you have high tier Scalita, maybe with Paragon, could be insane. This is more bursty though, in my opinion. Not really sure if that is a stall. I don't really see Sylvina as like a stall character, that is in general the burst, and combined here with the Vala. The interesting thing is, in a lineup like this, you want those two to focus the same enemy, and then you have Sylvina jump over, she hits an enemy a little bit, and you want to get the defeat with Vala, really. And once you get that going, your Vala becomes insane, because then she's invisible, and if you have her melee mode, even deals true damage. So can be really mean, this combination. It's not really a stall though, in my opinion. Even the Igor is kind of stally, I guess. But this is certainly interesting. I like that. I like this team, actually. I don't know, it's 3-star though. Then we have the Seller Hypo Nuke, of course, does exist. We still have all the Harak teams. I mean, the Harak teams are still great. I recently showed that. If you remember, we fought Brownie very recently. And I was talking about who the best hero in PvP is. And there we featured, actually, one of the teams he made a video about. And that is something that I want to say at this point. Brownie recently made a great video about the Diurnal Burst team. And we showed that. We also showed how to defeat it, if you care about that, in the video where I talked about the best Paragon, the best PvP hero. And check out his video on this team. I think that will be also a very interesting team. It's kind of in the same area of combining, he combined Diurnal, Harak and Dunlinger in there. And I think it's very, very effective and does a ton of damage. It nearly one-shot my entire standard PvP team. Like madness. Okay. And then we have a stall team, similar setup, with the super fast Dunlinger there from the Twins, which is great. Absolutely love that. I use that as well. You can get very good uptime on the Dunlinger when you use Twins on him. It's actually quite insane. So a little used to that on in like the PvP fights that I did so far, but it is quite insane if you go for it. It is really quite insane. And there we see some burial use. Love that. Love that. We have full dark there with a little bit of Ludovic. Ludovic, absolutely insane healer, so that's something. And then we have 3 more graphics coming up, last 3, with like a little bit of a compilation of the best teams for every single map. We have the 6-star team over there, going with the Diurnal team there for the map 1. For map 2, Gloomy Ghost is a little bit split. We have a little bit of a Lenya team or a Harak team and even a Diurnal team. So all of those work. Interesting enough, I mean, this team with Flowerbell, and here we have Burial, so those make use of the thing. So we in all of those teams, Gloomy Ghost recommends to make use of the map mechanic. With my team, I didn't really do that too much. I burst a little bit through there. But if you have a Flowerbell, well, well, maybe try that. It's a good thing. And then on map 3, yeah, map 3, I don't like those split up maps. But still, something like this with Wilder and then having an OD in there is so nasty. From my opinion, this probably is super insane. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely make sure you join Fight Club. And with that, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.